You're listening to the weekly Parsha Podcast with Ari Goldwag, recorded with Hashem's never-ending assistance in Ramapet Shemesh Israel 5785, 2024. This week's Parsha is Parsha Vayetzei. Yaakov Avinu is leaving his home. He's going out into exile for 22 years. He'll be away from his father's home. He's going to meet his wives, Rachel, Leah, Bilhah, Zilpah. He's going to have 12 tribes. And he's going to have 12 sons who will be the beginnings of the 12 tribes. But what motivates him? Vayetzei Yaakov mi Beersheva vayelech Haran. He's going to Haran because his mother tells him, she hears that Esav is plotting to kill him, waiting for Yitzchak to die, going to kill Yaakov. And she says to him, go to Haran, go to my brother, find yourself a wife or wives. Start the future of Am Yisrael. Now you have the brachas, now you can go. The Torah tells us an amazing, iconic event as Yaakov is leaving. Pasuk tells us, Vayifka ba'mokoim. He leaves, Vayifka ba'mokoim. He leaves, he's on his way, he reaches a certain place, he goes to sleep, he has his dream of the ladder ascending to heaven, the malachim, oilim v'yardim by the angels rising and descending upon this ladder. And our sages tell us it represents the different lengths of the exiles that the Jewish people were to experience in the future. All kinds of different interesting ideas that are taught to us. But I'd like to share with you a medrash, and the medrash is going to teach us something about that we wouldn't have expected, I would say. And we need to understand what is the significance of it. What is the idea of Vayifka b'mokim? He came to a certain location. So the first thing the Medrash tells us is, Bikesh lavor, nasa olam kula kimin kaisa lefanov. He was trying to pass. Vayifka b'mokim literally means he didn't just come, but he hit the wall. Vayifka means to touch. He touched the place. What does it mean he touched the place? So Medrash understands it to mean that he was closed in. It seemed divinely ordained, and it was, that he should stop in this location, and he should go to sleep in this location. He has his dream there, as we said. He wakes up, he realizes it's an awesome spot, it's a spiritual spot. But the Pasuk tells us something else about his hitting this location. The reason the Pasuk tells us is Kiva HaShemesh, where the sun had set. The sun had set. Why does the Torah have to tell us? Because the sun had set. He stopped there. He got stuck there because the sun had set. Amri Kiva HaShemesh. Says the Medrash, it was because the sun had set. The Medrash tells us a fantastic thing, a very important teaching, and we need to unravel what is the teaching, what is the depth of the teaching. The sun set early. The sun set early. And I don't know if you realized or noticed that the name of this podcast is Moshiach comes early. So what we're going to understand, we're going to try to bloom the depths of, is what does it mean that the sun sets early? And we'll see soon that there's also a sunrise that occurs early as a direct result of the sun setting early. We'll get there. And this has to do, as the Medrash is going to say, it parallels how Moshiach comes. The sun rises early, so to speak. What does it mean that Moshiach comes early? But let's read the Medrash together. The Medrash says, this teaches us that Hashem caused the sun, the circle of the sun, to set early, before its regular time. If sunset was supposed to be at 5 o'clock p.m., it set 2 hours early. It set at 3 p.m. Why? Because he wanted to speak to Yaakov Avinu in private. He wanted to reveal this amazing revelation that he would have in his dream, the dream of the ladder with the angels rising and descending. What's the pshat? It says the Medrash, this is comparable, analogous to a king's beloved friend who comes to visit him every once in a while. He says, the king says, look, I want all of the lights to be extinguished. I want to turn off the lights. I want everyone to get out of here. I want to be alone with my friend. Come on, a little candlelight. We're going to have a romantic moment together. And we're going to discuss important things and discuss our love for each other, our special relationship. This is what Hashem did. Hashem extinguished the sun, meaning he made the sun go out early. The sun set early. As the Meforshim explained, the passage says, Kiva Hashemesh. You can also understand it to mean Kava. Kiva means it came, or it set. But it can also mean Kava. Hashem put it out. Hashem caused it to be extinguished. Because Hashem wanted to speak to him privately. What does this exactly mean? So, this medrash appears also in Koheles Rabbah, and the Meforshim there explain that it was going to be Yaakov Avinu's first nevuah. Now, in contrast to non-Jewish prophets, so the Jewish prophets could receive their prophecy even in the daytime, even while the person was completely awake. Non-Jewish prophets would receive their prophecy only in a dream. But Yaakov is receiving his first prophecy, and the first prophecy of a prophet happens when a person is asleep. And it's the Esav who explains there in Koheles Rabbah that Yaakov Avinu is about to receive his first prophecy, so Hashem sends out, as it were, all of his other close ones. He's about to appoint a new close one. So he sends them all out. He wants to have a private time with him to initiate him into his first prophecy. He wants to have him private. He wants to have him quiet. But I want to point out another thing which will perhaps help us understand exactly why did Hashem need, as it were, to make the sun set early? What, he couldn't wait till he goes to sleep 2 hours later to have this discussion, to have this close conversation with Yaakov Avinu? Why did it have to be in such a way that the sun sets early? What does it teach us? And I want to point out, just as we continue talking, before we get to the answer, I want to point out, as I said it from the very beginning, let's take note of the fact that Yaakov Avinu was leaving his father's house, leaving Eretz Yisrael, going into exile because of Esav. Because Esav was ready to kill him. But also in so doing, he's going into exile in order to find his wives. So we could say, well, Yitzchak didn't need to leave, didn't need to go to Haran. They just sent Eliezer to get Rivka. Rivka was brought back. Yaakov needed to apparently go out to exile. Why did he need to go to exile? Because of Esav. Important to understand that, and we'll see what the significance of that is, and how it parallels our golus, our exile, and what Yaakov Avinu's return, how that parallels as well our return to Eretz Yisrael, our return for our long-awaited Moshiach. Now the Medrash points out something else, which we'll touch on, and it's really a whole other sugya, a whole other very important idea, but we're not going to delve so deeply into it, but it's worth mentioning. Medrash says it. Reb Pinchas b'shem Reb Chanan d'Tziporin Amar. Reb Pinchas in the name of Reb Chanan of Tziporin says, what does it mean, Kiva Hashemesh? Rosh Hashiva Reb Per Zechron Levracha would say that oftentimes the Medrash gives a more literal explanation, and of course this is being said with Derech Malitza. The Medrash is always giving us some interesting or far out kind of explanation, but often it's because there's something in the language of the verse that's unusual. And because of that, the Medrash is more close to Pshat than the Pshat, which means that the Medrash is saying, what is the literal words of the pasuk? What do they mean? What do they say? Kiva Hashemesh, the words means, we translate it as the sun set. But Kiva Hashemesh really means the sun came. Doesn't mean the sun set. So the Medrash tells us, what does it mean the sun came? Yaakov Avinu hears the voices, listen to this, amazing thing, of the Malachei Hasharis, of the angels in heaven. Amrim Bo Hashemesh, Bo Hashemesh. They were saying, the sun has come. The sun has come. He hears them in his dream. The Malachim are coming. They're going up on the ladder. What are they all excited about? There's this intense movement up and down. What are they all saying? They're all saying the sun has come. Who's the sun? And interestingly, the Medrash says it, Asa Shimsha, says it in Aramaic as well. The sun has come, the sun has come. Who's the sun? The sun is a reference to Yaakov Avinu, as we'll see. Yaakov Avinu is the sun. Yaakov Avinu is the one who shines the light, the tzaddik, shines the light of righteousness, shines the light of Hashem into the world. So the angels were saying, here is the sun, here comes the sun. Here comes the tzaddik, here comes Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov is on his way to shine his light, perhaps, out into the world. As he leaves Eretz Yisrael, he's got that light, he's burning with fire. He's burning with the fire of Hashem. He's going to shine that light, just like the sun shines and gives life to the world. Yaakov Avinu is coming to give life to the world. Now, the Medrash connects this point to another point in a later point in time. B'Shoshem Yosef. Yosef HaTzadik, we're going to learn about Yosef in the coming weeks. Yosef, when he has his dreams of the 11 stars bowing down to him, which represent his brothers, so he also has the sun and the moon and the 11 stars bowing down to him. And the sun represents his father, Yaakov. Yosef in his dream, right? It's a powerful idea. The dreams of the Avos were prophetic dreams. They held information for them that they needed to know for the future. They needed to know who they were. Yaakov Avinu hears in his dream, the angels are saying, the sun has come. He's the sun. Yosef HaTzadik sees in his dream, his father represented by the sun. When Yaakov hears his son mention the dream that he has, mention his father represented as the son, Yaakov says, how did my son, Yosef, know that I am the son? Who revealed this to my son? So Yaakov knew that it was a true dream. And I'll mention, it's not here in this Medrash, but there's another Medrash, which speaks of the fact that Yehoshua, the leader of Klal Yisrael, brought the people of Israel for the first time into the land of Israel. After their sojourn in the desert, he also caused the sun to stand still in the heavens. Shemesh begivoin daim. The sun went quiet, stood still. They had to finish the war before Shabbos. The sun couldn't set. What did Yehoshua say, says the Medrash? Yehoshua said to the sun, my great-grandfather, Yosef, Yehoshua was from the tribe of Ephraim, was from Yosef. My great-grandfather Yosef, in his dream, which was a powerful spiritual declaration of Hashem, you, the sun, bowed down to him. You showed your subservience to the tzaddik, to the righteous individual. Now, too, you can't set. You need to wait. You need to stand still. So it's amazing because Yosef, the sun bows to him, shows its subservience to him. Yehoshua causes the sun not to set. Here, Yaakov, Hashem causes the sun to set quicker for Yaakov in order to give him this revelation. And Yaakov is the sun. Yaakov perhaps replaces the power of the sun. Yaakov, it's in his chus that the whole world is miskayim. It has power. It has existence. Now the Medrash finishes off with an amazing idea, which I said before, which is that the sun set early here, but now the sun was owed 2 hours. 2 hours. It wasn't able to shine for those 2 hours, and let's understand, the sun, when it shines, it's doing its purpose in life. It's praising Hashem. It's praising Hashem as it shines. That's also how the Mefarshim explained it in the Medrash in Kolas Rabbah. The sun was told to stop its song. Its song of Hashem is sung as it shines and as it Shemesh Yoda Mavoyo, the sun knows and sings as it goes through its cycle. So it was taken away from it, the ability to sing those 2 hours. And when did Hashem give back the 2 hours to the sun? It was when he came back to his father's house. When he came back to Eretz Yisrael. He returns. In next week's Parsha, Yaakov Avinu is going to return with his wives, with his children, with all of the many acquisitions he acquired while he was by his father-in-law's house, by Lavan. And as he comes back, the sun rises early. The pasuk says, after Yaakov Avinu battles with the angel, which is the angel of Esav. Let's hear. This has to do with Esav. He battles all night. He battles all night long with the angel of Esav until the morning light. And the angel says, I have to go. I need to sing Hashem's praise. And Yaakov says, and Yaakov defeats the angel, and ultimately he defeats Esav. But the sun rises early. The battle is, so to speak, the battle with the angel is cut short 2 hours early in payback for the 2 hours that the sun set earlier as Yaakov was leaving. Hashem says, you are a sign. What happens to you will correspond to something that will happen to your children. Your great-great-grandchildren will also go into exile. And they will also return from exile. Just like when you leave Yaakov Avinu, when Yaakov leaves his parents' house, so the sun sets early, whatever that means, we still need to understand. And when you come back, the sun rises early, which we also need to understand what that means. We've already started to hear some hints. The pasuk says in Yirmiyahu, when the Jewish people are to leave the land of Israel, and it's talking about actually with the destruction of the first Beis HaMikdash. Yirmiyahu Hanavi says in Perek Tesvav pasuk Tes, Umlala Yoledes Hashiva. How sad is the one who has so many children, referring to Am Yisrael, who's going to lose everything that they have. Kiva Shimsha, when the sun sets for her. Which means to say, it uses the same language, the sun setting early. Sun setting early. So just like it was with Yaakov Avinu, somehow there's a setting of the sun early that happens. You can think about what that means exactly. We often think of the second Beis HaMikdash, the second temple, as being as chashuv as the first, but it wasn't. The first Beis HaMikdash was built by Shlomo Melech, King Solomon. The second Beis HaMikdash was built in a way with permission from the nations of the world, which wasn't so good, as the Gemara in Yuma talks about, Daf Yud. It was built by Nevi'im, yes, Ezra and Nehemiah, but the last of the Nevi'im. Most of Am Yisrael did not come back from Babel for the second Beis HaMikdash. There was a community in Babylonia for the entire length of that second Beis HaMikdash. We can think about this further. I don't know how much we'll get into it, but let's hear the concept of a chazirasan. There was a leaving early of 2 hours, so to speak, we could say. When Am Yisrael went into Galus the first time. And when we come back, the final redemption will happen. The pasuk says that the sun will rise. There will be a sun that will rise, and as the Medrash is implying, the sun will rise early. The sun will rise early before it really should come. The battle with Esav will end early. The sun will rise early. And what does the sunrise have to do with redemption? What does that mean exactly? What does it mean exactly? So I'd like to read you another Medrash. Medrash is in Bereshis, the very beginning of Bereshis, the second chapter. Pasuk says, "Vayikra Elokim la'or yom, u'lechoshech kara loyla." Hashem refers to the day as the light is day, and the darkness is night. Says the Medrash, "Vayikra Elokim la'or yom ze Yaakov." Who is the day? Who has power in the day? And as Moshiach explained, the day is a reference to the world to come, to the time when spirituality reigns, to the times of Moshiach, which is the introduction, the Erev Shabbos into Shabbos, which is the world to come, which is Elef Hashvi, the 7,000 year, the year 6,000. To whom does that day belong? It belongs to Yaakov. The redemption is Yaakov's. Moshiach belongs to Yaakov, to Am Yisrael. Not to Yishmael, not to Esav, not to the Muslim world, not to the Christian world. It belongs to Am Yisrael. Esav. Who owns the nighttime, the time of exile, the time of Gullus? Who is the one who's in power for these 2,000 years of Gullus? It's Esav, of darkness. Vaye'erev Vayevoker, the pasuk says, what comes first? In the Torah, the day does not precede the night. The night precedes the day. Right? We begin Shabbos the night before. Friday night is Shabbos already. When do we start Hanukkah? We light the Hanukkah menorah the night before the 25th of Kislev. The night is when the day begins. First we have the night. Vaye'erev ze Esav, says the Medrash. The evening is Esav's. He has the night. He has the Gullus. He has power first. Vayevoker ze Yaakov. The morning belongs to Yaakov. And as the Moshiach explained, Yaakov is the sun. As we saw, Kivo HaShemesh. It sounds backwards, right? Kivo HaShemesh, we said, means the sun is setting, but it also means the sun has come. At the moment that Yaakov is going into Gullus, there's a promise of the future. This is something that Moshiach explained here. When Hashem creates the world, first He creates the light and the darkness. He creates the light and the darkness. The concept of light, which is going to be in the end, is created first. The darkness comes first as well, in a certain sense. The idea of light comes first. The actual darkness comes before the light. Yaakov Avinu, Kivo HaShemesh, his light. There's a promise of his light before the dark. Vaye'erev arba shel Esav, vayevoker bokra shel Yaakov. The evening belongs to Esav. The morning belongs to Yaakov. Yom Echad, shenemer haya, but Yom Echad, the pasuk refers to this combination of evening and day as one day. What's the purpose of it all? Is for the one day. What's the one day? Shenemer b'haya Yom Echad, hu yivod al Hashem, lo yom v'lo layla. It's a reference to the future day of Moshiach, V'olam haba, which belongs, as we said, to Yaakov. Now let's try to understand things here. Let's look back and understand, because now that we know that the night belongs to Esav, and now that we know that the day belongs to Yaakov, we can start to understand what the Medrash is teaching us, and also what it means for us personally. The Medrash is telling us that Esav prematurely gets power. Esav runs Yaakov out of Eretz Yisrael. Esav is on the run. He's penniless. He's running to Haran, to the place where Hashem told Avram to leave. Avram was sent to Eretz Yisrael. Yitzchak never left Eretz Yisrael. And Yaakov is kicked out of Eretz Yisrael, so to speak. And the sun sets early. What does it mean? It means that Esav gets premature power. And it seems unfair. Yaakov is the rightful heir of the Jewish people. He should stay in Israel. Let someone else go bring his wives. Let him start Klal Yisrael in Eretz Yisrael. But Esav usurps Yaakov's specialness. Esav takes it away. Esav gets it early. The sun sets early. What that really means is, for me and for you maybe, what it means is sometimes things are unfair in life. I'm the one who should be I'm talking for Yaakov Avinu, I'm the one who should be the chosen one here in Eretz Yisrael, creating a family here. The brachas, the blessings I just received, they're mine. How am I supposed to get these blessings? I should get the blessings. Where is the source of blessing? It's Eretz Yisrael is the source of blessing. I should be here. I should be raising my family here in Israel. Why does Esav, for 22 years, why does he have soul power, soul connection to Yitzchak, soul connection to Eretz Yisrael for these 22 years? It should belong to Yaakov. But we see that there's a process that's embedded into creation. At the very beginning of creation, there has to be an Esav, there has to be a Gullus. There has to be the angels going up and down the ladder, representing the Gulius. But they also say at the same time, Kiva Hashemesh, the sun sets, but the sun has come. It means the sun is on its way. The sun, when it sets, the earth is still turning, and the sun is still on its way back. Even when the Gullus begins, even when Esav has power, it's just the evening. It's just a period of time that you need to get through in order to get to the morning. In order to get to the point where Yaakov Avinu is ascendant, where Am Yisrael is ascendant. So we think that something is unfair. We think, hey, it's not what I deserve. It's not where I belong. But what is the result of it? The result of it is that the fact that something was unfair in my life, let's say it this way, something was unfair in my life, the result is that I paid my dues already. The sun went out. The darkness came early. Esav took over. Someone who didn't deserve to be there got it instead of me. But now the system owes me, so to speak. I've earned that the light should come earlier or later. Yaakov Avinu, when he returns, the sun rises earlier, which means that he's in the overnight, all night long fight with Esav's angel. It seems it's forever. It's never going to end. But all of a sudden, the sun just pops up early. The sun rises 2 hours early. Which means that the thing that felt so unfair earlier gives the person the space to breathe all of a sudden at the last moment when it felt so close, like everything is over for me. It seems like everyone else is winning. It seems like utter destruction. Think about what's gone on over the last year here in Eretz Yisrael. And the hope is rising. And the hope is coming early, we could even say. There's a sense that things are changing. Things are about to change. In every area of Eretz Yisrael, for following what's going on here. But the sun rises early. Am Yisrael, we don't have to wait until the year 6000 for Moshiach to come. We're in the year 5785. Tavshin Pei 5785. And Moshiach maybe should come later, but Moshiach will not come later. The Gullus started earlier. We already paid. We paid off the dues. We already endured everything previously, all of the pain of exile. It's finished. Moshiach is already here, so to speak. We already see the dawn. It's happening early. All you need to do is open your eyes. And you see that we're already far into the process. Am Yisrael, 7 million strong in Eretz Yisrael already. Hashem has given us incredible strength to fight our enemies. So I want to bless you, and I ask you to bless me. Hashem should help us. That we should be able to face the challenges that we experience and know that these things somehow, the difficulty I'm going through right now, it's going to help me in the end. Hashem should help us to have that understanding on a personal level and on a national level. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbos.
This podcast was made possible through the gracious donations of listeners like you. For more podcasts like this, please visit www.arigoldwag.com or search on iTunes Ari Goldwag.